Hey everyone, my name is Chris. If you've been following along with Josh and Becca's show, they actually wrapped up last week. And next week, we're starting a summer-long adventure called Trailblazers. It's going to be awesome, but that means this week was a little bit different from normal. It's still gonna be a lot of fun though. I want to play a game, and then I'm gonna tell you a quick story from the Bible. So let's get started with the game. This is called World's Weirdest Stuff That Happened Last Year. In this game, I'm going to tell you about something strange that happened in the last year, but I won't tell you all of it. You'll have to guess which answer you think actually happened. Let's get started. In October of 2020, a court in Ireland declared that A. McDonald's hamburgers are not actually beef. B. Subway's bread isn't actually bread. C. Dairy Queen's ice cream isn't actually ice cream. Or D. Kentucky Fried Chicken's chicken isn't actually chicken. All right, go ahead and say out loud which answer you think is correct. Let's find out if you're right. The answer is Subway's bread isn't actually bread. Yeah, the court declared that Subway's bread has too much sugar to be called bread. Instead, they think it's more like cake, I guess. Let's try another one. In May 2020, the Polish army accidentally A. sent birthday cards to all of their soldiers on the same day. B. lost a castle. C. sent their soldiers only desserts for food rations. Or D. invaded the Czech Republic, a nearby country. How do you accidentally do any of those things? All right, tell me which answer you think is correct. Let's find out if you're right. The answer is they accidentally invaded the Czech Republic, a nearby country. Apparently, they took a wrong turn. They ended up going to a different country. They quickly returned to Poland, though there weren't any problems or any big issues. All right, let's look at another strange event. In Italy, in October 2020, a puppy, A, was born with green fur. B, learned to drive. C, became mayor of a town. Or D, painted a picture of himself. All right, tell me which answer you think is correct. Let's find out if you got it right. The answer is the puppy was born with green fur. It was named Pistachio, appropriately. Super cute. Let's look at another unusual event. In August of 2020, a waterfall in Australia, A, disappeared. B, started flowing backwards. C, moved 10 miles west suddenly. Or D, looked like the painting of the Mona Lisa. Which one do you think is right? Let's find out if you got it. The answer is, it started flowing backwards. There were such strong winds against a cliff that they actually pushed the water up, making the waterfall go backwards. What a weird and crazy thing. Well, we've got another strange event to look at. Let's keep going. In September 2020, in Los Angeles, people on several airborne planes saw A, a guy flying with a jetpack. B, a UFO. C, a hill that looked like it was moving. Or D, a bird that looked strangely like a hot dog. Let me know which answer you think is correct. All right, let's see if you got it right. The answer is a guy flying with a jetpack. They were about 6,000 feet high, and we're still not sure if it was an actual person or a mannequin or what was going on. Well, we've got one fact left, so let's get to it. In July, astronomers found that a gigantic star had A, changed colors. B, it had bumped another star. C, it had disappeared. Or D, it had words written on it. Let me know which answer you think is right. All right, let's find out if you got it. The answer is the star had disappeared. It just vanished. We're still not totally sure what happened to it, but it's also about 75 million light years away. So nothing for us to worry too much about. Now, this has really been an interesting year. In fact, I have a question about this last year for you to answer. It's our question of the day. Our question today is, what's your favorite memory from last year? If you're with other people, stop and talk about this for a little bit. Feel free to pause the video if you want and talk about something that you really liked that happened this last year. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Honestly, I love to write, and this year I got to write a bunch of stories down, and I really loved doing that. That was one of the best parts of this last year for me. Now I'm asking you that question because in the Bible, there are stories where people learn things about God. There are stories where they have to choose to follow God. But there's one thing people in the Bible do that we really want to focus on today. People remember who God is and all the things that He has done. That's what our Bible story is about today. Let's imagine we're way, way back in Bible times. Sometimes, if you were walking through the land of Israel long ago, you might see a large rock. Kind of like this one. It's a big rock, a heavy rock. It couldn't have just gotten there accidentally. So imagine you turn to someone and ask them, why is that rock there? Who set it up? They would tell you a story, like this one from 1 Samuel chapter 7. Samuel was a prophet and the leader of God's people. In Samuel's time, many people had stopped following God and were bowing down to idols. Idols are fake gods, like statues or animals. God told Samuel and all the people that they needed to stop worshiping those idols and only follow God. And they all listened and obeyed. They threw away all their fake gods. This got some attention from the people around them, though. Some people, called the Philistines, decided this was a good time to attack God's people in Israel. They didn't think God could actually protect His people. But the Philistines would learn how powerful God is very quickly. As the Philistines got closer, God made a sound like super loud thunder. The Philistines were so afraid that they panicked and started running away. God won the battle for His people. To remember what God had done, Samuel set up a big stone where that battle had happened. That way, every time someone walked by the stone and asked, why is that stone there? They would be able to talk about all that God had done for them. He called the stone Ebenezer, which means stone of help. Samuel said to everyone, God has helped us every step of the way. You know, God has done a lot for us today, too. He has brought every one of you here for a reason. God made you, He knows you, and He has given you a purpose. Maybe God has brought you through some tough things. Maybe He's bringing you through something tough right now. Maybe you're doing fantastic and you have a lot to thank God for today. Wherever you are at, you can remember what God has done and what He's doing for you right now. And I know a way that you can remember that. I want you to find a stone or a piece of wood. It doesn't have to be the same size as this stone, just something that you can color or paint on. Then think about something God has done in this last year. How has He helped you? How has He given you strength or been there for you? Then write about what God has done on your stone. This is great to do because God is with us today. He is helping us today. When we have hope, even in tough times, that's God helping us. When life is going great, we have God to thank for those good things. Most of all, God sent His Son Jesus for every one of us, and we can know that He loves us no matter what. And now, I have one more thing that I want to tell you about today. Our next show coming up in the summer. It is called Trailblazers, and it is going to be an awesome and fun adventure all summer long. So make sure to tune in for next week's premiere show. Also, if you finished 5th grade this year, first of all, way to go, that is awesome. Also, you can check out our Ground Zero Students Ministry. They have some fun things going on this summer, so if you're going into 6th grade, make sure to check that out. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to join us next week as we start Trailblazers.